Hey guys, you come to Badass Agile because there's something about what we do here that sets you on fire. It excites you, it inspires you. You want to be uncommon. You believe what we believe, and I think you want to be part of something special. So why not click the link below to find out more about The Forge, our online leadership immersion experience. Next cohort is opening for December 2020, so go on ahead and apply. I hope to see you there. Hey crew, it's C-Dubs here. Welcome to another episode of Badass Unscripted. Thank you for joining me. Let me share with you a technique that I think is so interesting to use when you're trying to improve team performance. And by that, I don't mean increasing throughput. I'm just talking about breaking through barriers when it comes to getting better. See, there's this meme going around right now about, how long did it take your company and their digital transformation to make work from home a reality? And the answer is, 2 years and counting, 3 years and counting. And then at the bottom is, it asks the same question. How long did it take COVID-19 to do the same thing? And of course, we know the answer is like overnight. Well, what's the difference? Why was something that was so impossible and so long and drawn out before all of a sudden so easy to execute in an instant? Well, it's because the parameters changed and there was the introduction of necessity. So it was slow to realize before because it just wasn't important enough. It wasn't a priority. So how can you replicate that kind of urgency in a team environment without, by the way, creating an HR nightmare? I don't want to go too crazy here, but you certainly can. You can start by asking powerful questions of the team. You can look at any given process, interaction, or flow, and instead of using the open-ended question, how could we make this better? Use the direct question, how could we take this from 1 week to 2 hours? If you had to trim, absolutely had to throw ballast, what would you do? What corrections would you make to make this doable in a matter of hours instead of a week? Now, all kinds of creative answers are going to come up, and none of them are wrong. That's the important part. This gets people thinking outside the traditional. So they say, well, we would have to cut some scope. We would have to focus on manual solutions instead of custom-rolled technical ones. You might say we would have to eliminate this function or outsource this function or automate this function. Those are all great answers. Another way to engineer necessity is to throw down little challenges. Say to people, hey, here's a problem to be solved. You have an hour. Now, don't make them high stakes. You're going to be bonused on this type of challenges, but you can certainly, for fun, as a way to create a crucible experience, kind of like an escape room experience for your team, you can throw down a challenge like that. Hard to achieve, but worth the effort. Here's a fun one you could try. You interested? What would we do differently if Agile just stopped? So imagine all of a sudden using a Scrum stand-up, using a backlog, retrospective, using a Kanban board was considered a grievous copyright infringement and you're going to be sued. Can't use it anymore. It's not in the budget. It's off the table. What would you do? Well, people would immediately start taking the best principles and saying, can we morph these, or are they so good that it's worth the risk of paying a fine to use it? If so, let's keep it, but let's throw away everything else. Or maybe they'd come up with something totally new. Maybe they would take the lessons learned and the best practices from the last 15 years of agility and come up with a better, more efficient, more effective flow that works for this team, this client, this product, this project, this company. Does that sound so bad? I don't think it does. To me, this sounds like a lot of fun. A lot of people comment that this brings back a spirit of competition, stretching, imagination, creativity, innovation, and there's a freshness to it, breaking out of that stale box, breathing new air. And most importantly, make sure that you draw the team's attention to what they learned from the urgency exercise after it's over. What did you find out about yourselves? Common answers will include, well, we immediately knew we had to lean on one another. We immediately knew we had to minimize upfront planning. We immediately knew that we had to very quickly put all ideas on the table. Every team is different, but every team will have revelations and findings, epiphanies. And you want to make sure that you get to those because that learning can be repeated and applied and turned into a team creed or a team agreement, the rules that you live by later on for future projects. All right, guys, let me know what you think. You can reach out at badassagile.com. Find me on Twitter at badass_agile and on Instagram at badassagile. Look forward to seeing you next time. And until then, stay badass.